Oh no, did we hurt your feelings, Fox? Because now Fox News is attacking the MeidasTouch network. Is it because our ratings are better than yours and tens of millions of more people watch us on YouTube than either watch you on cable or on your digital networks? Are we making you mad, Fox? Let me show you what went down. One of the Fox hosts, Greg Gutfeld, attacked our editor-in-chief, Ron Filipkowski. Ron Filipkowski and our editorial team continues to expose all of these stunts that Donald Trump is pulling when Donald Trump pretends he's in a black church but fills it with all of his white MAGA supporters, when Donald Trump stands in front of people wearing shirts that say union workers for Trump. We point out they're not union workers. When he goes to Scranton and has people dress up like firefighters and says Scranton firefighters for Donald Trump, we expose that they're not firefighters. When Donald Trump goes to the bodega in Harlem and says he's got organic support, we point out it's a group of young Republicans leading the chants for Donald Trump. We've gone through each of these scams, and we exposed most recently Donald Trump's scam at McDonald's, where he went into this McDonald's that was closed for the day. They did a rehearsal where they brought in Trump supporters to pretend they were customers, and then they did this whole PR blitz around it, and we called it out. We debunked it, and it backfired on Donald Trump because of our reporting. Here's what Fox host Greg Gutfeld had to say about Ron Filipkowski, our editor-in-chief. Play this clip.
Yeah, I think you know who won? The media. Because I love the hacks who had to point out that Trump really doesn't work at McDonald's. I just read on X, some tool named Ron Filipkowski said it was staged. It was staged. Because, you'd expect the president who's been shot at twice to go into an actual McDonald's and start working there. You dope. I used the right phrase then. We understand he didn't actually fill out an application that doubles as a placemat at McDonald's. We also know that he didn't say that he worked at McDonald's. Somebody else did. And the reporters, instead of investigating that claim, they decide to pull their hair out over this.
Wow, he was calling Ron Filipkowski a tool, a hack, and a dope. You just have to be name calling. Craig Gutfeld, that's what you're doing. Nice sweater, by the way. So that's what Fox is doing. Also, as part of that panel, you have Jesse Waters. And the argument, this is their argument, that Jesse Waters says is that people don't even know what fascism is. That's what Fox is going with right now. Because Donald Trump's former chief of staff, a 4-star general, a man of integrity and character by the name of John Kelly, says that Donald Trump is a fascist, that Donald Trump is a dictator in waiting, that Donald Trump admires Hitler's generals. So the way Fox tries to push back on that and go, why would anybody care about some 20th century philosophical term like fascism? That's what they're going with here. Watch Jesse Waters embarrass himself. Play this clip.
You can't even define fascism. I challenge Kamala to tell us what it is, because a majority of the country doesn't know the word. She needs non-college educated blacks, whites, and Hispanics to turn out for her. And she is smearing her rival as with a mid-20th century European political philosophy. Okay, Jessica.
You think people don't know what Hitler is?
She's calling him a fascist. Go out on the street, ask 20 people what that means,
send Johnny
Jessica.
on the Hitler patrol.
I will. Don't you send my...
Now, in addition to Jesse Waters, you have Lindsey Graham on Hannity's show with the fear tactics. Says there'll be another 9/11 unless Trump is elected. That's kind of what they do, right? What does Donald Trump always say? There'll be a Great Depression if I'm not elected. The stock market will crash if I'm not elected. No, actually, the stock market is at record highs. People's 401ks are much higher right now, as I always like to say. Ask yourself this question. Where's your 401k today versus where was your toilet paper when Donald Trump was in office? We remember how Donald Trump mishandled COVID. He said like a miracle it was going to go away. He bragged during press conferences about the ratings he was getting during COVID while thousands of Americans or tens of thousands were dying each and every day. He told us to inject bleach, and then corporate media wants to give him a mulligan like, oh, this thing just happened. No, be a leader, grow up, be an adult. But here's what Lindsey Graham does. Scare tactics. It's all scare tactic. It's all fear. That's all they got. That's how you know they're losing as well. Play this clip.
That's Donald Trump, Kerry Lake, Sam Brown. Let's secure these Senate seats to help this president shut down the border before another 9/11 comes.
Well,
this is the most important election in our lifetime. Turn around those caravans. LindseyGraham.com. Help these two great candidates secure that border. They need your help.
I'll add this.
Now back to our friend Greg Gutfeld right here, laying the groundwork for the new version of Stop the Steal 2.0. This is what they're saying. That's what Justin Baragona said. And what Greg Gutfeld says here is that, so if you believe that Donald Trump is a literal fascist, then you're going to try to steal it from him because you can't let a fascist win. So therefore, we shouldn't trust the results. That's what they're going with. Because, I mean, Fox got sued into oblivion when they lied in 2020. So now it's a little more subtler tactic that they take. Here, watch this.
I mean, in the best possible way, Kamala.
But
argument.
The argument is Trump is a fascist. He's Hitler. That's the argument. That's all we hear every day. That was the big op dump. So I repeat the question that I asked, I don't know how many months ago. If you believe that Trump is a danger to America, a true and literal fascist, don't you have the responsibility to stop him at all costs, which includes rigging an election? Yes or no? It's the perfect question, right? If you believe he's Hitler, you're a coward for not doing everything you can to stop Hitler. Unless you don't mean it, then you're a liar.
Like J.D. Vance? A liar.
What, is he saying that now?
Oh, no, he just had a change of heart once he could get
people
power.
do have changes of heart. They do. But your change of heart is intensifying it after Trump was shot, nearly killed, and then the object of another assassination attempt. God knows what else there is. And since then, the rhetoric has doubled and tripled. So I got to wonder, what happens if it actually succeeds? What happens if there's another attempt and it works? How is that going to look on Kamala? Do you think she's ever thought about that? Has she considered, is she aware that what the handlers have done to her, the position that they are putting her in, the risk that they aren't taking, but the risk she's taking herself? If something happens to Trump, God forbid, in the next couple of weeks or even after, how is that going to play? How are the Democrats going to feel? That's a good question. Someone should ask Kamala that.
By the way, this made me laugh, though. Stephen A. Smith was on the Hannity show. Here's what he had to say. Play the clip.
Number two, I know you're not talking about somebody being lucid and cogent and enunciating their thoughts with clarity, and you're bragging about Donald Trump. We can't be watching the same stuff if that's what you're doing. You ain't going to do that today.
You know
now,
what?
Lindsey Graham, hold it. Now, Senator Lindsey Graham is about to come on this show.
Let me tell you
now,
something.
that man can articulate himself very well. Not Donald Trump now.
I have sat with him for hour after hour after hour, topic after topic after topic, and he is so dialed in. Really? Look, you know, it's funny. People try. This is like the latest argument. And meanwhile, you're.
Here's Stephen A. Smith again. Play the clip.
So again, we might not like something on the left. We might not like something on the right. These are the two candidates that we've got to work with. And when you bring up issues in terms of character or in terms of being truthful or whatever, let me tell you something right now. Right. You can bring a whole bunch of Republicans and I'll be cool with it. You can't bring up Trump to make a case against somebody else using those arguments. You can't do that.
Look, you know what? I'm predicting that privately you're going to vote for Trump.
Oh, then never. And I told you I'm on the record. I'd have voted almost for any Republican but him. Okay? Nikki Haley, Chris Christie, I would have voted for them.
I'm not trying to set you off.
Him.
I gotta go. I love you, Stephen A. God bless you. And I don't have to defend my relationship with you.
And of course, here is our friend Jessica Tarlov on the 5 on that panel with Jesse Waters and Greg Gutfeld and Judge Jeanine Pirro, who just like yells. Here's what Jessica Tarlov has to say, though. Play this clip.
The centerpiece of it. But there was data that I saw today that I found really interesting, that the number one topic that Republicans are spending money on ads is about trans issues. So number 5 was the economy. Number 1, all of this anti-trans stuff where they're saying Kamala Harris is going to give sex changes to undocumented people in prison. And that doesn't seem like the strongest message to end on a national campaign. As far as
Here's Jessica Tarlov again. Play this clip.
As far as Kamala's finishing message, I think she has two audiences for it, and you're seeing these quite split. So she has the protecting democracy message, which she has to do to get those Republicans and right-leaning independents who don't like Donald Trump and are considering voting for her. And she did a lot of that in the town hall last night, was talking about that. That's where the fascism conversation comes in, talking about what Mark Milley said, what John Kelly said. 40 of 44 cabinet secretaries that work for Donald Trump aren't backing him. And there were a number of big endorsements just out today. The Republican mayor of Waukesha, which is a GOP stronghold, 40-year GOP state senator, also from Wisconsin, and former GOP Congressman Fred Upton, coming out and saying, I've never voted for a Democrat in my life, but this is what we have to do now. And then the other closing message is for the rank and file Democrats, for people more like me. And that's going to be about reproductive rights, cost of living, talking about that Medicare proposal to expand coverage for people at home, aging people, protecting healthcare, building housing, et cetera.
She gave it.
By the way, even though this clip I'm about to show you is on CNN, I want to give a hat tip to Charlemagne here, who went on CNN and said, y'all are just so phony on CNN. You're like Fox Light, or maybe you're just like Fox. You want to spend all of this time having panels debate Vice President Kamala Harris's blackness and whether she's black or not black, or whatever the ridiculous things you're trying to talk about. And meanwhile, you don't even have the guts to talk about the fact that Donald Trump is an actual fascist, that Donald Trump admires Hitler. Too much for you, Anderson? And Anderson gets so defensive. Great work, Charlemagne. Play the clip.
I think that's why it had a reaction. Donald Trump, he, for whatever you think about him, if you like him, if you hate him, he is certainly who he is. He's shown us who he is every single day.
Yeah, which is a fascist. And it's crazy because you still don't have news networks having that conversation. Yeah. Like when somebody says, when somebody questions Kamala Harris's blackness or is he a DEI hire, y'all will have roundtable discussions about that, asking that question. How come you're not having roundtable discussions asking, is Donald Trump a fascist? Actually not even asking it, stating it. I mean, when you look at the things that he's talking about doing, jailing journalists, jailing his political opponents, turning the military on American citizens. The guy said he wanted to terminate the Constitution to overthrow the results of an election. How come that is not the topic of discussion on networks like CNN every day?
And by the way, here's Donald Trump wherever he is right here. Again, more lying. Play the clip.
The Atlantic is reporting that you said that you wanted the kind of generals that Hitler had. Is that something that you've ever said?
No, I never said that.
What did you think?
That he made up stories. He's done it before. It's a failing magazine. Right before the election, it's just a failing magazine.
I'll leave you with this clip as well here. Here's a former Trump aide, Alyssa Farragut Griffin, and here's what she talks about. Increasingly, you have Republicans, independents, former Trump people even, all joining together with Democrats, progressives, liberals in a pro-democracy coalition because everybody recognizes the threat that Donald Trump poses. It's existential here. Play this clip.
What do you think? I mean, I just can't believe that for 4 years people have been warning about this. This is General John Kelly is somebody who was so highly regarded by everyone in Trump's West Wing. He was seen, even by the most loyal Trump advisors, as a steadying force. And the fact that today Trump's defenders are instead choosing to impugn a four-star general to defend a politician, I think shows that there's a cravenness and an unwillingness to ever stand up for what's right. But we've never actually been in this moment in history before where so many former senior military officials who directly served under Donald Trump and senior officials like myself are warning about his character, his infidelity to the Constitution, how he views our military. And I want to shake people and be like, why are you not believing us? How many more four-star generals need to tell you the truth about who this man is? He is so deeply dangerous. I'm hoping it breaks through, but I'm never going to lose hope. I'm not going to, but how many more people do you need to hear from? This is a man who he's a Gold Star father. He lost his son in combat after himself serving in combat.
Well, there's
for
a
decades.
disconnect.
So I'll say this about Fox attacking the MeidasTouch network. Fox is funded by billionaires. It's their revenue, $50 billion a year, $30 billion a year. And the MeidasTouch network has 0 outside investors. We are supported and funded by you. If you want to help us grow, though, and continue to beat Fox in the ratings and continue to make them mad, as you see right there, a few ways you can do it. First and foremost, you can go to patreon.com/MeidasTouch. Support us there. Hit subscribe. Goes a long way to help us. Another way, you can check us out at MeidasPlus.com. That's our Substack. Join there as well. MeidasPlus.com. Those are 2 ways you can help. You can become a member on YouTube as well. But one of the best ways you can help too is make sure you vote. Make sure you get family members, friends, coworkers to vote. Share your voting stories below in the comments. That's probably the best way you can help. Share the MeidasTouch network with people in your life. That's another way that you can help. Let's build this community, not just for the short term, but for generations to come. Let's be proud of what you and I and all of us are building together. This is not possible without you. So thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thanks for watching.
Love this video? Make sure you stay up to date on the latest breaking news and all things Meidas by signing up to the MeidasTouch newsletter at MeidasTouch.com/newsletter.